Hi guys, so we are going to make a salted caramel Biscoff cake. We have these ingredients. Just to spray in my pan. Vegetable oil. Eggs. And water. And we have Biscoff cookies. Okay, so first we just add this cake mix. So a little trick I do, cut the top here, dump this in. Once I open this becomes my garbage can. Put that in there. And then I need my 3 eggs. Now, a trick I do with that is I always crack my eggs in a little container, because once in a while you go to crack an egg and part of a shell gets in there. And if you've cracked your egg straight into your mix, then you're trying to fish it out or dig it out. And a white shell is awfully hard to see amongst this. So if I crack the eggs in here, I can make sure that, first of all, the eggs are good. And second of all, that there's no shells that accidentally end up in my cake mix. So let's do that next. And I'll put the egg in my little garbage can here. I also always crack my eggs on a napkin. I just don't want salmonella cross-contamination on my table. So I'll do that when I'm frying up meats as well. Like, I'll get a napkin out and just keep it on here, and that way I can throw it away when I'm done. Need one more egg. Okay. Which that time, no shells. But once in a while, when you do get a shell, you're awfully glad, or I'm awfully glad anyway, that I have it in a bowl like this. And then I can pour this in. Okay. Then I'm going to add, I'm going to throw this in my little garbage can here. Oop, garbage can. Okay. Pour our 1 cup of water in. And I love this measuring cup. I got this years ago for my wedding, and it has been the best gift. Okay, it is wearing thin though. See, I can pour and see the measurements from on top. I think it's 1/3 cup. Always check. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, 1/2 cup. Okay. Half cup of that. Okay, pour that in there. And I do love watching some of your guys' videos. You have those beautiful kitchen made fancy mixers. And maybe someday I'll have one of those. But for now, this is how I do it. It's a good workout. need to stand up for a minute. Okay, get some good leverage on this. Okay, so I make sure to spray my pan generously with some of this. And I've used this Bundt cake pan for a lot of years. I'm on my second or third one. Once they start to get a little bit scratched and damaged, that's when I notice a lot of my cakes start sticking. So far this one's still held up. So I'll keep her. Okay, so I'm going to scrape these edges here. Get every little bit of my cake mix. One of my good friends, Sherry, she gets me one of these spatulas every year for Christmas, and I love them. It really helps me to have no waste. Okay, here we go. Try to pour it right in the center here so it doesn't stick to the sides of the bundt cake pan. But once in a while, it's hard to avoid. Gotta be steady. I like to pour it directly in the center of the pan here. The center of the side, I guess I should say. I want to pour it exactly in the center where the hole is. Okay. And see, while I'm doing all this, by the time I'm done with this, the oven has had time to preheat. I've been making so many mini cakes lately. It's been a while since I've made a cake. I love doing bundt cakes. They're hard to mess up. Plus, there's icing on 3 sides with the way I do it. Who doesn't love that? Okay, in we go. It's nice and flat. Okay. Now, let's see how long. It says for bundt cake, I can't even read that, 39 to 43 minutes. So I'll set it for 40 minutes on the timer. I bet this timer, I'm going to guess it's about 50 years old. Okay, there we go. It's 40 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put that right there. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay. Oh, Biscoff people really know how to wrap their cookies, I'll tell you. We're on a tight ship here. Got it. Oh, they're so good with coffee. Okay, I want to get a nice amount out here. Sprinkle. This is the first time I've ever made this as a bundt cake. Usually, I notoriously put just sprinkles on my bundt cake, so get a couple more there. And right here is probably, I'm not a big spender, I'm a minimalist, but this I got years ago from Pampered Chef. The best tool I've ever gotten. I use it for all kinds of things. And I'm about to use it for this. I'm going to crunch it, but not too much. I mean, I don't want it to be crumbs. Oh, what a mess. That popped. I don't want the chunks too big, but I don't want just a bunch of crumbs either. that's good enough. Yeah, because I've got some really small crumbs there too, and some big ones. It's a nice variety. Usually try to clean up while the baking's going on. Okay, so the cake is done. Turn the oven off. And I tried to kind of get around the edges with this, my favorite spatula. It is old. It has been loved. Kind of go around the edges to make sure I'm catching any potential places where it might get snagged or stick. And it still happens once in a while. When it starts happening a lot, that's when I know it's time for a new pan. Okay. And I do usually do this while this is still hot. I can't tell you how many times I've used this. Okay, let me dump this cake. Perfection. Okay, no cracks. Gotta wait till this cools down and then I will do my icing. Okay, the cake has cooled for over an hour and I am ready to ice it. I usually start off with kind of putting a layer on the top here. Like this. Generously. And these containers are the perfect amount to where I have just enough and not a lot left over, not a lot of waste. Okay. Can I get a little bit more of this spread around? This. Okay. And then this is what I normally do. I kind of start a pattern where I go in, out, in, out. Sometimes I kind of go out, spread it in, out, slide it in. And it kind of gives it a nice finished look. And I do love the bundt cake in particular because if you are an icing fan, you've got icing on 3 sides of the cake. The only side there's not icing on is the bottom. It's always a big hit. Okay, and really, that's plenty of icing there. Still a good bit left there in the bottom. Do some patching if I need, but that's perfect, honestly. Okay, and here's our Biscoff. I'll get a spoon here. And we'll start off with some of these bigger chunks. Goodness, this is going to be good. Taking this to work tomorrow. Okay. Oh golly, plenty of topping. And I like to get, I know I see some Bundt cakes that will just drizzle on icing on part of it, but I like sprinkles and icing on all parts of the cake. That's just me, maybe. Perfect amount. Almost done. Okay. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Okay, let's see. Let's clean this up so it looks better. Usually take a wet, clean dishcloth and kind of just wipe around the edges here to give it a nice clean look. There we go. And then I'm going to pre-cut this because tomorrow when we're at work, our lunch break's very short and people are just going to want to scoop and go. So I will show you my trick with that. Okay, get waxed unflavored floss and kind of go like this. And actually I could have taken this clear across like this. There. Cut it in half. I'm going to cut the half in half. Carefully. And I have used this container so many times. It's come in so handy. Okay, we're ready to go for tomorrow. When you live below the Mason-Dixon line, you gotta have the sweet tea in the fridge. At least for my husband. And that's all she wrote. Bye.